Hello YouTubers, today I'm bringing back this, as you saw earlier in the year, which that video was a big old unpacking fail video. Now the problem, just to refresh your memory, when I unpacked that horn from in the video back in January, it turned out to be a blown horn. But guess what I got today? That's what I just got in the mail today, guys. That's right. A new voice diaphragm driver. Now this is new old stock. This is all with a voice diaphragm driver. It's just basically a voice coil, but for horns. So I'll put it back in its packaging. So I already went ahead and took the unit apart, obviously. So I'll lift the top off. Now this is the Atlas APF-15 horn. They do make it in the 15T, 15U for the older 8-ohm horns. But as you can see, this is a newer Atlas logo, so this horn is relatively not that old. So I'm gonna put that cap off to the side, the diffuser cap. Now, here comes the internals of the horn. This is where the sound comes out and goes through that cap over there. This is where the voice diaphragm driver lies out. Right here. And inspect your gaskets too. The reason these have gaskets is because these are commonly used outdoors. So, yeah, you gotta keep your gaskets in place. Same with these gaskets, but also the reason I have school glue right here is because I want to fix the fiber separating. I don't know what you call this type of fabric, but I don't know, this one has a little bit of separation right here. That's got to get fixed because these horns are notorious of having a distinct rattle in the background, and that's what the one in my room already had, the main room. But I fixed it with some Elmer school glue, which totally makes sense because, you know, this is used in most of the schools. So we're going to start taking this apart. Here's a magnet. Someone told me fix it because I love Atlas. I like Atlas too, I have to admit. Atlas is a pretty great company. Here's the specs right here. And these, I did not do that. Some idiot decided to hook it up the wrong way. They thought this was a plus, and they thought that was the minus. No, the other way around, you flip it. Here's the old diaphragm. I don't know if you noticed, but look at that discoloration around the inner part of the copper here. This thing's blown. No sound comes out of it. No ohm reading, so this is bad. So now, before I put this together, like I said, I gotta get this Elmer school glue ready here, so I'm gonna try not to put too much, but I don't want to rip this up. I don't want to rip it up here, so I'll try to get it on camera as best as I can. Now, it is fine for it to go on the edge, but smear it around. But don't get it on the voice coil. Keep the voice coil clear of glue. It's fine if it goes on the tinsel wire. It's not going to hurt anything. So, don't mind getting your hands a little dirty like you did back in kindergarten when you were playing with Elmer school glue. Now, it might try to separate, but once you compress it in here, it'll start to dry up over time. Because, for instance, most of these horns I have at my school in the VP161 Atlas grills, most of these I've heard rattle pretty bad outside. That's because this diaphragm is getting separating over time because they're all obviously exterior. They're all used outside, and where I live, the heat's pretty bad, so that's why they rattle so bad. Because I live in Arizona, where it's known to go up to like 120 degrees in the summertime, which this is the time of year. But obviously I won't put these horns outdoors, not for my use. So now I glue that together. This gasket went here, but I'm going to put some glue here too because I don't want this rattling. I want it to kind of play music pretty good, so put a little ring of glue. I try to get this gasket in here. Just drop it right in there. So that's how you gotta get it right in there. Now there's these little grooves here. You can't mix this, and this also has a groove. So tell this one's got more of a slanted groove here. This one's got just a straight groove. We're gonna want to we want to match these corresponding ends up to this. Now it might be a tight squeeze for this one because this is a new old stock part inside of a new Atlas horn. But I'm gonna try to be careful here not to damage anything. See how it's freely moving? That's good. It's a good thing to see. I'll verify that everything looks pretty level. I think, okay, I felt it push down. And that's how this is constructed. This is how Atlas Sound makes this. In case anyone likes Atlas products as much as I do, because I like Atlas products as well. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue, but just a little bit around the edges, not to get any on the voice coil. This is for that cardboard gasket. The reason you want this cardboard gasket in place is so that way, like if let's say these two tinsel leads are to get shorted, like start coming out over time, they would short on this magnet here, which is pretty interesting, man. Look how reflective it is. It would short on there. So we want to put this gasket back in place, just like that. Just like that. And there's these special grooves in these magnets. You're going to want to line it up with these two little those two connectors there. Magnet should lay flat right on it without you pushing it. It should just drop right on there. If it's not dropping for you, don't force it, because they're going to damage the voice coil, and it's not going to be pretty. So now, and I should probably rotate it. Don't forget to rotate it, because there's these two screw holes there. There's this little bracket piece here. It should just lay right on there, just like that. And that's what sandwiches your magnet in place. And I gotta be extra careful, not careful, but extra patient with this, because this magnet, since this is a speaker magnet, it's gonna try to take in these screws. Get it in there just a little bit, but not over tighten it. And this is also just fixing the characteristic problems of these horns. There's rattling in the background. Now, if you're going to get one of these, the first thing you should do is carefully take out the voice diaphragm driver. Check for any separation in the fabric. And then the plate itself, the plastic plate. Because this one's kind of getting there too. So make sure this is kind of on there pretty good. Now the older style the Atlas horns that the APF-15 use will have a little bit of a dome shaped magnet. This was a flat magnet because, you know, things changed over time. Now this is made in China, unfortunately, unlike the older Atlas APF-15U horns. Those were made in the US, I believe in Missouri. So now I got these two wires here. So it'll go right here. Just gonna slide right into those little connectors there. It also has this heat shrink on it. I'll try to zoom in. Now it has this little sleeve. I should not call it heat shrink because it's not heat shrink. It's just a sleeve. But we gotta try to get it in there as much as we can. Sometimes they can be pretty stubborn, as you can see. But you want that sleeve on there because it protects the wire from making contact with the magnet. And if you don't do it, it'll short, and then obviously short out your amplifier, whatever you have it on, a stereo. So before I put the top on, I have my wonderful Mr. Iowa stereo over there. This is 8 ohms, so I have a wire ready to go, and I'm just going to put on a news station just for a short bit because I don't want the copyright police to get on me. So, carefully lift it because I don't have it screwed down yet. Now, there's these 2 flatheads in the back. You're going to want to try to get them. Almost like putting a light switch in the wall. Make the little U-shape hook. Like a little J, not U-shape, a J hook. And you just screw it right on there. And obviously this is solid copper. This is just doorbell wire because I have a huge roll of doorbell wire. So here's my horn. Let's see, the moment of truth. Will it sound good without, well, just get sound a little bit more bass because this cap is off to the side. So.
The requested funds. While floodwaters are receding fast in Orange County, southeast of Houston, and nearby Beaumont, the Neches River.
There we go.
So is the Brazos River near Richmond. More flooding expected. More evacuees heading for Houston shelters. ABC's Matt Goodman at Beaumont.
That's how you fix an Atlas APF-15 horn.
The original projection would be that it would
sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
Now they're saying 1 weekend.
Now, see how this makes a difference? It projects the sound out.
Specifically, the outbreak of E. coli. More fire at the Houston Area Chemical Company.
So let me turn that down because it's just a U station. But that is the inner workings of this horn. And a lot of these are known to have that rattling issue, but as you can hear, it's basically rattle free. The only rattling you're hearing is these screws here. So let me stop it here and I'll screw this horn together, which is just these 3 screws here. And there's 4 screws in the back, which are these screws. Not very much of these horns. They're so much easier than doing a speaker. I never repaired speakers, but speakers are very tedious to do. Atlas designed their products, their horns, to make it easier to replace the coil. Although that coil was super hard to find. Luckily I found one. I found this coil here, this voice diaphragm driver coil, on eBay for 24 bucks. But I asked them if I could get the price reduced on, and they said $22. And it was in my area too, which is pretty cool. It was in Phoenix, which that's the major city I live next to. So stop it here and put this sucker back. There you go, you guys. Here's the Atlas horn, all put back together now. Sorry about my voice there, battling a cold, but here we go. Doesn't that horn horns sound really good. It has a real good masking in here that masks the sound out very well. But my original plan was I was going to install it right up there, right where that BP-161 is at, the older style. I will still be putting it in there. So that's where it'll be living at, along with its other buddy, the Atlas APF-15U that's in the other room. That sounds really good too, despite the rattling it had in the beginning. But I fixed it with the Elmer's glue, and it sure worked with this one too. So whenever I fix these horns, I recommend you. Oh, sorry about being clumsy. I recommend using Elmer's glue for this. Probably for any horn too that has a similar voice diaphragm driver like that. I know there's a few other horns that use this exact driver. I know Bogan horns use. Now, Bogan and Simplex and some generic companies use this body. Atlas was the first one that came up with this construction, but all these other companies started using this, which means they use that exact driver. So this applies with Bogan horns, Simplex horns, some other generic horn in this same factor. So I hope you guys enjoyed this repair video. Finally, I got this working after 9 months. And stay tuned for